Sales and procurement, program and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Business Zone with
Crystal.
and Coach Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And today, folks, I want to say happy Black History Year. And
Yeah, it is 300. For us, it's 365 days a year.
365, baby. 365. So today, folks, we're gonna have an amazing show. We're gonna be talking about uh, black culture. We're gonna be talking about the evolution of the black culture, how it fits into the United States, things that people never heard of before, or they heard a little about it, but they weren't clear about it. We want to talk about that 40 acres and a mule that we still are waiting for. We haven't gotten yet. I want to share that with you guys. And my co host, she's got amazing little presentation she put together. So you guys are going to be informed today.
Well,
How you doing,
hello,
co host?
everyone. I am good. I am good. And in addition to Black History Month year, today is Valentine's Day. So we want to
Oh,
say happy Valentine's Day to everyone. Valentine's Day is not just for couples. It is just to show that we have love for everyone. And truly, we need to have love for everyone in this day and
man,
age
I
that we're
forgot
living in.
all about that, co host.
I bet you did.
I just saved myself some money there by forgetting.
It was so funny because first thing in the morning when I first woke up, I started getting texts and emails, texts actually from friends and family, wishing me happy Valentine's Day. So and then if that then my niece, my daughter and the grandbaby called, and I had sent them a message, but they hadn't seen it yet, so they were calling me. And so my grandbaby was saying she was trying to tell me Happy Valentine's Day, but she's only 2.5, and so that's a
So
lot of
what did
words.
she what did she
That's
say?
a lot of syllables. She went and I said maybe just say Happy Love Day. Happy Love Day, Nana.
I love
'Cause,
it. I love it when they're trying to talk and trying to remember the phrases and they don't remember.
right, exactly. So we condensed it down to Happy Love Day, and so that made my day. And then after we talked for a little while, and then she tells me, "Hey Ty, how are you?" And then she tells me, and when I was saying I was getting ready to hang up so I could get ready for the day, and she says, "I love you much." I said, "I love you." She, "I love you more." So that was
How
it.
old
That
is
was my
she?
day.
How
And
old
she's
is she, man?
2.5. So I was done. Like this is okay. I can go about today with smiles on my face. And yeah, I'll call
I
you
love it.
later.
I love it, man, when these little babies, man, because they're like little parakeets. They like they imitate the things you say and do, man. I love it.
Yes, so that was my day. So my Valentine's Day started out just right, just perfect. I don't have any dates or anything. I don't need it any now because I got a call from the grandbaby this morning, and she told me she loved me more than I love her, which is
That
possible. It's
made
probably
your
not
day,
possible.
huh?
It's not possible, but but it was great. So I want to wish you all a happy Valentine's Day, and I hope you guys have had that kind of love uh, um, sent out to you as well. And with this crazy world that we're living in, with so much anger and so much animosity that's pointed at all of us little old poor people by the billionaires of the country. We need all the love we can get. And so at this point, let's just all of us embrace each other and give us love because the billionaires don't love us.
Man, they only see us as a machine that makes money for them, man. They don't care about us.
But here's and this has always been, I guess if you want to say a bone of contention with me is as a entrepreneur and everything I've ever learned about business, everything that I've taught to everyone else that I've educated about starting and launching their own business. What is the first thing we say? I mean, next to the structure and all that, but as far as what is what makes a successful business?
Well, you got to have good team, good people around you, and you got to respect and care for them, man, because they're the
Right.
ones who help you to generate that revenue that you so badly seek.
Right. And you have to treat your customers with some kind of respect.
No, no, not some kind of respect, with a whole lot of
a lot of,
respect.
with a whole lot of respect for those customers to come back. So wealthy people or billionaire business owners have a different concept. Their concept is y'all just buy what I have and take whatever I throw back at you.
You
What
know
the
why?
heck?
You
Why?
know why? Because they have the mindset that they can always outsource whatever they need to be done. They can always outsource it, not just in the U.S. They can outsource it to China and all these other places. And that's why this whole tariff thing that's going down, even though it's going to put us in an uncomfortable position, I kind of like it because then they're going to realize that them outsourcing to China is not going to work anymore because of these tariffs that's going down. You
Or
know,
anywhere.
yeah,
I mean China, Canada,
Mexico,
Mexico,
Indonesia, all
everywhere
those
around the
places.
world,
Yeah.
South Africa. I mean, they're attacking everyone. And we in this country we don't manufacture anything anymore, right?
Hmm.
And so everything is outsourced. Even if the car companies are here in America, they are still getting parts in pieces of the car, the door, possibly the engine,
Hmm.
maybe the glass, the windshields. These are coming from other countries, so we are not in. We don't manufacture all the components, say, of our automobiles, even
That's
our
right.
American-made automobiles. So
Hmm.
when you start to create a tariff war with people that are providing you with your aluminum and your lumber and your electricity, I think that's what my mama used to say. You are, what are you? You biting the dog that feeds you.
And see, on top of that, they have existing agreements under the NAFTA, right?
Right.
Under the NAFTA agreement, they have existing agreements with Mexico and Canada. So how are they going to supersede or violate that agreement and now impose tariffs? You see what I'm saying? It makes no sense at all. As
And it makes no sense.
apparently, these people who are talking about these tariffs, about imposing these tariffs, they have no clue that we have an existing agreement. You can't break an agreement like that, even though, and I want to put it out there for those of you who are listening, this is the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. We're on every Friday from 3 to 4:30, and we're on every week. And I really would like for you guys to start tuning into what we talk about here on this podcast. It has a lot to do with small, micro, disadvantaged business, women owned business, disabled business enterprises, and, any small business out there trying to make it in terms of government contracts, in terms of government opportunities. The Olympics are coming up. And all of these are things that we talk about here. Give you pointers, give you information that will help you to grow your business. So a lot of what we talk about here will benefit you either directly or indirectly. So,
Mm-hmm.
we're talking facts on here, and a lot of what we say, if you guys want, you can go, you know, you can validate it. Okay? You can go validate what we say to make sure, because we make sure we do our research before we talk about any of the stuff we talk about here on this show. So please remember, guys, go ahead, subscribe to our channel, go to YouTube, subscribe, and like. If you like what we're talking about, go ahead and give it a like. Or, if you think another small business or someone else in your family can benefit from what we're saying, then go ahead and send it to them. You know, not only do we talk about stuff, but we also provide you guys with gifts. Give you guys little gifts that will help your business. We also teach classes. So you have me, Coach Gilbert Buchanan. I teach back office, infrastructure, how to become contract ready, how to go after government contract, how to become loan ready, how to become business ready, and even nonprofit ready. My co host, she does bookkeeping, and I'll have her tell you what she does to help you guys as small businesses because her repertoire is very vast. She's done a lot over the years. So, co host, you want to tell them what you do and how you can help them?
For sure. So I am, as just like Gilbert is, I am a business coach and consultant as well. My area of specialty is accounting and bookkeeping, forecasting, budgeting. It's strategic, strategic planning for your business. So it starts with first having a financial foundation, a software or accounting software that can help you maintain and that you can go back and review your previous data and see how that can help you can grow your business. So that's kind of what I do. But in addition to that, it's not just about bookkeeping for me. If there's no business structure, and you're not reviewing your financials, then you really don't have a pathway for growth. And so I kind of once we get it all set up, then we use it as a tool to help you grow your business to make sure you're successful. And so that's kind of what I do. So I teach as Gilbert. I do workshops and classes around the city for a number of organizations, in addition to and that those workshops could be anything from starting your business to growing your business to establishing and creating your financial structure, finding capital, you name it. And then I also teach. I have a program that I teach young people, how to be entrepreneurs. So that's kind of what I do. I wear many, many, many hats. Um, just to help our business population. So our podcast is about that, all aspects of business, but also things that are happening around our business that affects our business. And then I have a couple other podcasts. So you guys can find me on my socials, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, as well as YouTube for the three podcasts that I
Give
do.
them our QR code, co host, so
And so
they'll have
what we
that.
want, yes, we want you to go over and we want you to hit that subscribe button. We also want you to hit the like button if this is conversation that has interested you and piqued your interest and curiosity, and to share this, but hit the like button as well as the subscribe button. And if you have comments and you'd like to share with us, please put that in the comment section, and we will get back to you. So, with that, we're going to kind of jump into our show today. So we got a couple things going on. We're going to talk about. I didn't even show the QR code. There you go. Hit the QR code, guys, and you can just go over to the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert, hit that subscribe button, and every time we come on, you will get a notification. Anytime a short is uploaded throughout the week, you will get that as well. So we want you to be part of the Business Zone family. So
That's
please
right. That's right. And we really
come
care
join
about
us.
small businesses, man. We really do. Now we've been in the industry. We're talking decades, okay? Decades we've been in the industry, so we know a lot of the good, the bad, and the ugly that has occurred within in many industries. We've worked in different government agencies and organizations such as LA Unified School District, LA Community College District, LA Metro. We've done work with uh, BART, San Francisco BART. It's a
Metro.
transportation
That's
system,
mm-hmm.
just like LA Metro is. So we've done a lot of work with a lot of major organizations, even some of the prime contractors like Kiewit Infrastructure. My co-host, she has done work for some private organizations that had contracts with the city of Los Angeles. She straightened their books out and make sure they become compliant. So these
Mm-hmm.
are things we do for small businesses, guys, and a lot of the times we do some of this stuff for free. Another time we charge, and we have to do that because of the research and all of the hard work we do to provide you guys this information. So you really need to check it out. So follow us. Hit the subscribe button so you can follow us and also get notification each time we get on here. We bring on guests on this show too, and the guests will talk about many different topics. We had Dr. Thiele Thatch on here a couple of weeks ago talking
Mm-hmm.
about DEI, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. So, and as a matter of fact, she's written books on that topic. She has what she called HR in a box. She also does HR. So she has an HR kit that you guys can use to run your business. It's a ready-made system. Dr. Thatch also speak as an expert on many DEI stages. So we provide you guys with some top-notch people here. We don't play around. We bring you the best of the best. You too can be a guest on this show. All you got to do is contact us, and real soon we'll put the contact information in the chat. So all you have to do is contact us. We bring you on the show. You get to talk about your business. You get to talk about the type of customers you work with, how you serve your customers, and it's just an amazing thing. I really, really would love for you guys to check us out. We're looking to do special shows where we get our own show where we can really provide more help for small business, but they want to see the views and the likes up some more. It got to be, you know, maybe close to 100,000 for that to happen. So if you guys can help us with the likes and the subscriptions, which is free, that would be great. I got Ty Austin in the chat. Happy Valentine's Day, he said. Hey, happy
Yeah.
Valentine's Day, Ty. And I hope you're having a special day with your special person, right? While you
Including yourself.
including
If
your
that includes you, then that's who that special person should be. Now you're having a great, lovely time, full of love and peace today. That's what I say. So, guys, we're going to kind of get started. We're going to first start because it is Black History Month. So, just for a little humor, and then we're going to jump on into if you guys have over the last couple of weeks, we've kind of discussed the DEI. Then we last week we talked about DEI being derivative of the civil rights movement, which was part of the
the
1960s
1964 Civil Rights Act.
Act, right? So we talked about that. So today we actually are going to talk about the EI portion of the DEI. So diversity is uh, one part of it, and then the equity and inclusion. What we want to talk about is really how does it affect us as people? How does it affect us as consumers? And how does it affect us as business owners? So we want to make sure you understand Um, one, our vote has consequences, and actions have consequences. And so we want you to see not just from talking points, but we want you to also know exactly what is being affected as the Trump administration is shutting down and closing down things. There are some consequences that could affect you as the people of the United States. So we're going to kind of talk about some of those things because here's the thing: the more knowledgeable you are, the better you can protect yourself and your family. But if you don't know what's about to hit you, then you there's going to be some challenges you're going to incur. But if you can preempt it by just taking precaution, then you and your family will be in a better place. But a little humor, Gilbert, for Black in honor of Black History Month here for us. I'm going to show a quick little video. Hopefully, it will play all the way through. A world without Black history, because if I recall, Black history has been taken off of all calendars, as well as everybody else's history as well. It's not just Black history. It's anything that's revering and uplifting other the minorities that are in this country. So, but what would this world look like without us, without Black history? So, Black history is important. Um, to us, and we're going to tell you why. And we haven't done our show on all of the inventions, but this is going to kind of cover quite a bit of that. So we want you to check it out, and I will hopefully it will. Let me see, make sure it's going to play the way I want it to play. Make it bigger, so maybe that'll help as well. Do this, and let's see what we get here. Let me get rid of these little things that keep popping up on my. All right. Okay. Uh oh.
On this program, I would like you guys to put in the chat, go ahead and put in the chat what your thoughts are of equity and inclusion. Do you think that equity and inclusion is important to the growth of your business? If you think so or not, put that in the chat as well. You know, we're curious to see how many of you entrepreneurs or small businesses see equity and inclusion as a part of your entrepreneurial journey.
Okay. All righty. Here we go. Let's try this now. And maybe by the end of the show, we will be able to play it again. But it's actually kind of cute and interesting. What if that there was not a Black History Month or any of the inventions and things that we contributed to this country that actually provided and it's a lot. I mean, we're not just talking. Small things. We're talking hairbrushes. We're talking refrigerators and elevators and stoplights and our cell phones and look, there's just so many things. So we'll have to come back with that when my system wants to play it because right now it obviously does not. But I do want to read. So as we go forward to talk about the what we're going to talk about today. So the Constitution, guys, everybody learned about this when you were in elementary school. What what America stood for, why during the Revolution, why there was a war between Great Britain and America. America being the birth home, the new birth of America there was a purpose for it, right? So we did not want to live under tyranny. We wanted to live. We didn't want kings. We wanted to have a democracy, and so there was a lot of strife in order for that to take place in our country, but it was necessary. And there is a there's wording on the Statue of Liberty that read, give us your poor, give us your humble, give us," and I'm trying to find it. I had it. Give me your tired, your poor, your humbled masses yearning to breathe free. and come to this new country that is there so that everyone could be equal under the American philosophies and mission of this organization. It reads, "Give me your tired, your poor, your humbled masses, yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your steaming shores. Send these the homeless, the tempestuous, lift my lamp up to the golden gourd." Basically, this country was created to invite everybody into this country. That is what it is, a country of immigrants that migrated from other countries um, in order to live a free life. And today, our rights, the Constitution is being tested, and it's being tested because there is someone that wants us to go back to colonial days and to have a king in place, and that king governs everything we do, how we think, how we behave, how we act, and also diminish the melting pot of people that live in this country, which is why this country was built in the first place. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about, and we're also going to talk about Black people and that 40 acres and a mule. And for any of you that
I
caught
want my mule.
the halftime show this weekend, past weekend for the Super Bowl. That was part of the lyrics was about your 40 acres and a mule. So Gilbert, you want to jump? We're going to start with that part, and then we'll come into because I think everything starts with us, right?
We are the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega.
Right. We are the beginning. We built the country, and because when the country was here, it was the Native Americans that this was their home, and this is their home. They're the original people, and then the Brits came, and they didn't discover it, but they came and invaded it, and then the Indians or the Native Americans welcomed them in with welcome arms. That's how we have Thanksgiving, and then of course they got stabbed in the back. So once they did that. And in the meantime, they were bringing us in from the transatlantic slave trade, and we were brought here to work and to build the country and to make them rich. That's really all. That's really what it comes down to. So we fought a civil war during that time. The Declaration of Independence was signed, but a contingency that we had to fight. We still, as Black people, were not being given our freedom, and nor were we be given our due. And so after the Civil War, and this is all like consolidated, guys. After Civil War, then there were certain promises made to us, and so Gilbert is going to talk to you about those promises that I don't believe we ever got.
So, so I think we're gonna start off with the little snippet of the Kendrick Lamar performance at the Super Bowl first, and just kind of give some our reaction to it, and discuss what we thought some of the messages were that were being presented, and see if you guys have some takes on it as well. If you guys want to give us your take, what you think it meant, what it was about, what he's talking about. Was he right? Was he wrong? Those types of things. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to share my screen, co
Okay.
host.
Yeah, because mine is not doing it.
So, so I'll go in here. We can get
Yeah,
going.
just go to share.
All right. So let's see. Let's see. Share.
The revolution about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy.
Okay. So there was a lot going on there, and a lot
Yeah.
of it is coming
Yeah.
from. all of the things that has occurred over the year, over centuries here in America, especially as it relates to Black people and their position and place here in this country. And so there was, if you guys have been on YouTube, if you've been on YouTube, if you've been on Facebook, if you've been on LinkedIn and TikTok, the reactions have been uh, pro and con, but a lot of pro, and a lot of people woke up and didn't realize that all of this had been going on. And it's like our say, our voice, our history has been stifled so much that even other people, other nationalities are like, wow, I didn't know that was going on, right? So that's why it's so important. I mean, if anyone says why Black History Month, but it's actually our history, it's American history, and it is not just one day; it's every day, because there's been so many amazing inventions that was as a result of us. Our contribution to this country is tremendous. If you go down the list, it's not like we weren't freeloading for sure. So go ahead and tell them about the next part, Gilbert. we
So
we
there
are not
there
freeloaders.
there is a whole lot of message involved in this, and even I myself, kind of I missed some of the messages that were being delivered when I first watched it. You have to watch this video multiple times to really get most of the messages, because some of the messages are so subtle you just skip over it. You see what I mean? So the first thing I'm seeing here, with Samuel L. Jackson calling himself Uncle Sam, you
Mm-hmm.
know, it, they presented Uncle Sam in the form of Samuel L. Jackson to let you know that, how we view America, Uncle Sam, from the Black perspective. And he was trying to tell Kendrick Lamar, how to behave or how to do what he does. Hey, that music is too loud. What are you doing? What makes you think you should be doing this today? You know.
It is
So
also his character in Django. He
yeah.
That's what he did in Django. He was keeping us
So
controlled.
it's amazing that throughout, our over 400 years, those are the things we've been hearing. People been telling us what to do, when we can do it, what we shouldn't do, how to fit in. And one of the questions he asked was, do you know how to play the game? You're too loud. That's not how the game is played. You got to conform to their system. And, if we look back in our ancestors, if they had conformed to the system that was presented to them, we wouldn't have inventors. We wouldn't have all the things we've had today in the form that it is. It may be here in some kind of form, but it wouldn't be in the form that it is, like the traffic light, the elevator, a lot of those things that were invented by blacks. So this complements your video a lot that you played earlier about, you know, if there's no Black History Month, if there's a life without blacks here in the US, a lot of things that we do, we did it because it was a necessity. And they said necessity is the mother of invention.
Hmm.
You create things when you're having difficult times doing something. And that's what this story is. One of the things that you notice on the stage, Kendrick Lamar had dancers on the stage. They're dressed
Hmm.
in red, they're
Hmm.
dressed in blue, and they're dressed in white. So if you notice, there are two major, gangs represented on the west side. You see what I'm saying? One
Hmm.
wears red, one wears blue.
Hmm.
So his focus was to bring those two gangs together. You see what I'm saying? That's a big part of the show that he was doing and what he was saying. is about them coming together and don't play the game that Uncle Sam and his colleagues are telling you to play, because when you do that, they will always win and we will never win. So
Right.
that's kind of what he's saying. Instead of us fighting against each other, let's come together and let's build together. Let's build like we did at Black Wall Street. You know, that's when we came together back then.
Exactly. So really, us coming together in unity, which is some of the issue, and there's been many instances in the history of America to keep us separate purposely. Initially, we were segregated, and so we fought to be integrated.
Hmm.
Um, I've always thought we probably should have stayed segregated, in my opinion. But
Well, we fought to be integrated because we thought that is what should happen. We thought that was the way to go. But then we
well, I think
found
that's
out
part of it. Well, wouldn't you say that was part of the conforming?
that was part of the conforming too. Yes. But then, see, integration has two sides to it, right? You have the one side where we're trying to do like everybody else and be normal, but the other side didn't see that as being normal. They didn't want normalization. So they did the things they did to us, like, bombing us in Oklahoma in 1920 at Black Wall Street, because we were thriving, we were wealthy, we had our own jets, we had our own banks, we had our own doctors. We didn't need anything from the other side. That's when we had separate but equal.
Mm-hmm.
We were segregated. We thrive better in that environment than the integration environment, because in the integrated environment, we still had to ask Uncle Sam for stuff. And that's why Kendrick Lamar was saying at the beginning of this about the government cheese. Remember
Yes.
what he said about
Yeah,
that?
because we were then dependent upon the government
Exactly.
and not dependent upon ourselves and our own resources. And truth be told, the skill sets that we actually possess, and the strength that we have. I always like to say that the reason those of us that are here today in this world is because there are millions that went through a lot of atrocities for us to be here,
Hmm.
and they went through so that their future generations would hopefully thrive in this
Thrive.
country
Right.
based upon all of their contributions and all of the torture and the horrific the atrocities that they suffered. Okay, we'll suffer them so that they can live a better life. They could live an inclusive life, and and that's not what happened. So
It,
it's been a journey and a fight all the way through for the last 250. Well, actually, now we're at 400 years, I believe.
you know what's amazing, co-host? That a
Hmm.
lot of Americans, a lot, and a lot of minorities too, a lot of them don't think about the White House was built by us blacks.
Hmm.
We
Hmm.
That was free labor right there. Never
Oh,
got a paycheck.
I even have one extra. Michelle Obama, the
Yeah,
wife of
former
the
president
right, Barack Obama, her great great grandfather actually worked on the building the
from
White
building
House.
the White House.
He was
See,
part of the crew, the construction crew that built the White House, and and look how they were treated. So even
see,
though there was contribution to that, and so the conformity is very challenging because I don't. There is no conformity because there's no welcoming for the other side for you to conform. They accept you to a certain extent, and that's really what his message was. That there's been many promises and so much effort on our side to
for the
contribute
things that we've done that
what
they
we've done.
promised us, and
Exactly.
and that's why they were yielding. He was mentioning the 40 acres and a mule, but some people still don't understand what that is and what that message was. I want to take a step back and talk about another great monument that was built by us in this country that no one talked about. the Grand Canyon. We built that because they couldn't find any quality labor to put on there. They bring, other groups here, and they were dying off. They couldn't deal with it. They couldn't handle the sun. They couldn't handle hard labor. They couldn't handle the long days. We built that. A lot of blacks died building the Grand Canyon because they didn't have any safety programs in place then. There's no safety, no harness. People, to go from one side of the Grand Canyon to the next, when you're building,
Mm-hmm.
they only had rafters, those pieces of wood that they put like um, a 3 by 6. They'll put that on there, right, and then they stretch
Mm-hmm.
it across, and then they try to reinforce it. But somebody had to go test it out to make sure it was solid and it could be walked on. So who do you think was testing those out?
Mm-hmm.
Us,
And
the blacks.
well, of
So
course, and
most of us
here's the
died
right,
trying.
exactly. And so Africans were specifically chosen. It wasn't a happenstance that they thought they
Right.
discovered Africa. They were specifically chosen because they had tried
Groups. Uh,
other minority groups, and they were
they
not
couldn't
able.
last. Right.
They couldn't last. So there were a number of reasons why we were chosen. One, um, we were less expensive to maintain than indentured European servants
Yeah.
or paid wage servants because we had free labor. They had free labor. The demand for cheap labor to work on plantations was a huge market for Africans, and so many other industries benefited from it because if you were in they were picking cotton, and then cotton was a commodity, which then translated over to the stock market and the insurance industry, and so there are not just uh, many of the wealthy people in this country and actually in Europe became wealthy off the backs of Africans that were enslaved. They also brought them here because Africa has a very hot and humid conditions, which were very similar to the South, and so they fared better in the fields. They also were very experienced in intensive agriculture and raising livestock and knew how to raise crops like rice that the Europeans were unfamiliar with. And then they found out that Africans had a high resistance to disease, and so they that was another additive. And then they felt that because they brought them here to this country, away from their country, uh, uh, frightened without a language, then they became very dependent, and they were easily they were some of them were it was easier to break them to get them to do what they wanted to do. So those were the very specific reasons. But they had the Japanese, the Chinese. They had tried all of those individuals. The Indians would revolt. Mexicans that were here would revolt. And so they felt that they needed to take them from another land, and that land distance being so far that they could not get back.
Mm-mm-mm.
And so that was a lot of that was the incentive. And then of course, they hit pay dirt based upon all of the contributions that they received and the wealth and the riches that they received from the transatlantic slave
So
trade.
so here is another amazing, um, monumental project that blacks built also that you don't hear about. You go to Google, you don't see much about this. So the Panama Canal.
Mm,
The Panama Canal was built by us as well. As a matter
mm-hmm,
of fact, most of the people most of the laborers that they brought to build the canal was from Jamaica. Most
mm,
of them are from Jamaica
mm-hmm,
because they couldn't. They had the French. The French started the building of the canal. They couldn't swing it because of diseases, flooding, landslides, and all of those things. They couldn't hang. So they reach out to Jamaica, and they ship many of the Jamaicans over to Panama to build that canal. That canal took over 34 years to complete, to be completed. It started in 1880 and it was completed in 1914. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So throughout that whole time, you've got Jamaicans building that canal for the U.S. and for Panama, because the U.S., they took dominion over it. So as a result, they said, well, we got to get labor on. We got to get quality labor. We got to have them work around the clock, 24/7. So in order to find, because many of the blacks here in the U.S. were already working in the cotton fields and all of that. So they couldn't take away the blacks from here, send them to the Panama Canal, because the slave owners here, were complaining, hey, why are you taking our blacks
Right.
from us?
But it was
That's,
beneficial for the slave owners, the
oh, yeah.
plantation owners in Jamaica,
Oh, yeah.
for them to send out, because they were getting they were getting contributions back to them.
Oh,
There was
yeah.
some
Oh,
for
yeah.
using their labor and their manpower.
Mm-hmm. So they figure, if they did that, then, they would get it completed. As a matter of fact, they wanted it to be completed faster. But because they were doing that faster and they were doing it 24/7, people were dying. A lot of, because they didn't feed the slaves. They had them work long hours. They had to work in the sun. And even if you go to Panama today and you go to the canal area, that area is called the Canal Zone. There's an area around there called Colon, Colon. You know, there's a lot of Jamaicans who still live there because they went there and they couldn't come back. So that, of course, they had to live there, and then they reproduce. And then you have generation to generation. Because remember, it took 34 years to build
Mm-hmm.
it.
Mm-hmm.
So that 34 years is like two generations right there. So there are two generations of slaves who built that canal. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Nobody talks about that.
Exactly. The Panama Canal is actually in the conversations of the president's lips, because he wants it, and
Yeah,
it
he doesn't
actually,
understand the history, man.
he don't care about the history, man. He just wants what he wants. He don't care about the history, but the Pan and so there's much controversy, and the Panamanian government actually owns the canal. It was given back to him during, I want to say it was President. It wasn't Bush. It was
In 1999, so I think it was
wasn't that Who was that? Lyndon Johnson.
let's see. No. 1999
Oh,
is when
nine.
the U.S. gave up the canal back to Panama,
Let me give the fact. I think
and
I can
and
find the
and
fact.
that was Clinton. Clinton was in office
Yes.
92, so I think it was him.
No, it's Carter. So the treaty was signed and in 1977 by Jimmy Carter, and the treaty gave the U.S. the right to use military force to defend the canal's neutrality,
Right.
but the actual ownership of the canal it was given to the Panamanian government. So
Right.
we don't.
So they owned it, but the U.S. was managing it for them until
Yes.
1999. So 1999, I believe Clinton was the one in office, because he went in office in 92, and I think he did two terms, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I believe he was still president at the time when they handed it back over to Panama. But Panama does not have the resources to maintain and sustain this canal. So and and because of that, the Chinese decide to step in and go, oh, okay, well, maybe we'll help all these guys. But when the Chinese take over any region, they don't, the people that they were taking over that region from, they don't really benefit that much. So U.S. saw that and go, huh, we're not going to let the Chinese come take away what we spent 34 years uh, building and maintaining and treasuring. So we want back in that. So that's why you hear them fighting and talking smack about it right now.
But
Okay.
the Panama government is the owner of it. It belongs to
Right,
them.
right, right. They
Yeah.
own
So
it, but
we
they
would.
can't
Yeah.
sustain it. They don't have
Yeah. So,
the
but
resources to sustain it. 'Cause just so for the folks who are listening, who are wondering what's the significance of the Panama Canal, the Panama Canal is a shipping area where ships transport goods and services, and it's like a shortcut from the Atlantic to the Pacific and from the Pacific to the Atlantic. You know, so because of the canal, they will cut out at least 2 to 3 days of journey in shipping those products. So if you're shipping something to Japan, right, it's probably going to
mhm.
take you about a week or two to get it over there. But because of the canal exists, you can just transport the ship through the canal, and that will take off like 3 or 4 days off your journey. So that's the reason why the US and all these other nations like China want to control the canal. Because then if they control it, then all the other countries who want to ship something to the other
Right.
side of
So
the
then
world
they
from the
now can, yeah, they
yeah,
can like
they
create
can
their.
collect money. So that's why
Mhm.
Trump is talking about this tariff and all of that stuff. The canal, the Panama Canal, is going to be a big part of that tariff he's talking about. Because if you want to ship something from the Atlantic to the Pacific or the Pacific to the Atlantic, you got to pay. You got you got to pay rent.
And
You
that's the
know.
same conversation that is going to be had with Greenland. That's also a ship pathway, and that's
Hmm.
why they want Greenland, and that's more for the benefit of Russia. So if you guys had not figured it out, um, um, what is the old additive? Follow the money. So
Yeah.
follow the money, and you know exactly why the this administration is wanting Canada, is wanting to own Greenland, and is wanting to take control of and own, not just take control of, but own the Panama Canal, and as well as um, the Gaza, the Gaza Strip.
Yeah.
They want that. It's all about the money. That's all it is. It's all about the
Right.
money. They don't care about the people. They don't care about the environment. They don't care about the climate. They don't care about none of that. It's all about the money that can be made um, for them, and at what is the word I'm saying? At the behest of the people, and
Right.
what's not right or best for the people. So it is not a good thing.
Right.
But all of that this still comes around, Gilbert, to the inclusion and exclusion of certain people, because everyone contributed something to this country,
Hmm.
um, to make it the country that it is. And those that have done the most contributing and the ones that have lost the most are the ones that are being pushed out. They're the ones that.
I think we've lost the most because we haven't gotten any kind of compensation for efforts. You look at many groups like the Native Americans, they get sovereign land to build casinos on and all of that,
Mhm.
right? The Jews, they've gotten some type of
Oh,
leverage.
they all got reparations
Do
and
you see what I'm
restitution,
saying?
as we'll call it restitution. They got Yes, there was. So part of that 40 acres and a mule you were speaking of is the restitution.
Yeah,
There,
right.
they. I think we should. I was on a panel the other day, and when you say reparations, it sounds like a handout, right? Reparations, or it is interpreted. It doesn't sound like that to us, but it's
Yeah,
interpreted.
it sounds like that to others, but if you look in the dictionary under the word reparation, it's not a handout. It's if you did something bad or evil to someone else and you compensate them, whether financially or otherwise, that's reparation right there.
Yeah, it's a
When you're in
compensation.
a marriage and you divorce and the
Hmm.
woman gets she gets half of your stuff, and she gets alimony, and that's part of reparation,
It is
especially
reparation.
if she's been in there for 20 years in the marriage. She's contributed to the marriage. That's reparation she's getting. So I don't see that as a handout. Now there are some women who they don't deserve the alimony they get.
That's
They,
another conversation.
they don't deserve half. That is a handout. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So
But restitution is the same, and it's understood, right? So if
right,
you steal something from someone, you rob a bank,
yeah,
or you common burglary or whatever it is,
yeah,
you assault someone, you injure someone. What are you paying? Restitution, right?
right. So to
The,
make it whole, so that's why they call that restitution. You give
right,
back to to compensate the person. But
right.
with
So
us, we've got nothing. No
right.
reparation, no restitution, no alimony, nothing.
Right, exactly, and it's been on numerous of ballots of the last 5 to 10 years is
Yeah.
the and it keeps being pushed back, and under this new administration, that's all interesting all by itself. But restitution, because even the president who's a felon and who has been convicted of 34 crimes, he got to pay restitution to the state of New York, does he not?
Yes.
400 and something $1,000. We understand restitution. You've harmed, you've created mayhem for a group of people, and you need to pay restitution to those people. So that will balance out. That's an apology. Money is an apology, and that's why when you go do a crime, they mandate restitution.
Right.
Right. And so that's what I think. There should be So part of that restitution was our 40 acres and a mule.
And the reason they came up with that 40 acres and a mule is that the 40 acres of land should be enough for the slave, the ex-slave, to um, to farm and
Hmm.
create his own food for him and his family to sustain themselves, so the government would not have to give them a cent. That's what all about. Now you need a mule to till the soil. That
Hmm.
so the mule, you know, how they do the farmers do their tilling of the soil and the preparation of the soil right now. That's why they needed a mule back then to do that, to till the soil, prepare the soil.
Right.
So that never happened because President Lincoln, uh, along with the abolitionist Sherman, were the ones who, the president, decided that that's the compensation they should give to the blacks, and Sherman was an abolitionist, so he was saying, yeah, this should happen, but Lincoln died before any
Hmm.
of this could go in effect. So then, I believe the person that was that then took up the campaign. His name was Johnson, Andrew Johnson. So
Hmm.
he then, he was like a Klan dude, right? So he ran the Klan, and he go, "Hey, we're not doing that." So then, whoever Lincoln's successor was, sided with those Klan dudes and say, "Yeah, we're not giving them anything. As a matter of fact, that land belongs to us. We gotta go back and reclaim that land." So they took back the land. They took back the land from the blacks who had gotten those lands, and then there are new whites who came in, criminals from other countries like Australia and all those. They gave some of that land to them. They give it to them
Well,
at a
actually,
discount.
every entity, every minority has gotten their restitution, their reparations, either in land or in gold. However they got it, we're the only ones, and even um, when you spoke of the Jewish community when they immigrated here, we helped them to win that war, World War II.
Yeah.
But however, um, Germany and Hitler were the culprits in that. Germany paid reparations, and the American government paid reparations as well.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite sure why that happened, because we were allies, not we didn't we had nothing to do with the rise of Hitler. We
Right.
have a lot to do with the rise of our Hitler right now, but we had nothing to do with the rise of the German Hitler.
Right.
And so, but we paid them restitution. The Japanese were paid restitution for being put in internment camps
Internment
for
camps. Right.
during World War I. And so we're the only group, of course, the Native American, Indian, the original people here had to pay restitution. And quite honestly, the state of California really truly does belong to Mexico.
Right.
It was part of the Mexican that war, and I want to say that there was probably restitution paid because we kind of we uh, stole that land as well. And
Mhm.
so, yes, you're absolutely right. And I hope I don't know if it's in our time that that debt will be settled. I know it won't be settled under this current president.
Mhm.
um, so yes, you're absolutely right. So when we talk about Black history and the contributions and what we've endured, yes, we have endured probably more than any ethnicity in this country. And the debt we paid to this country is tremendous. It's tremendous. And we're still paying for it today. So,
Those 40 acres and a mule was supposed to be awarded to 3.9 million slaves. 3.9 million slaves.
hmm
Okay. They gave it to a handful. Okay. They awarded it to a handful of ex slaves. So I would say maybe a maximum of 200 got awarded their land and a mule. And then that's when the Confederate came in and they took it over. Hey, well, these guys, they don't make money. They're not on our level. Why are they owning land? So they took it over because they had guns and all of that stuff. And our foreparents really didn't have anything. So, we had to scamper away and run away from our land. So these lands were taken by the Confederate, right? And while they're taking and possessing these lands, these criminals from other countries, right? They came here because this was like this is
That's
like
it.
where you exported criminals, right?
Yeah, well, that's how I got started, was the
Yeah,
exportation of the British that were kicking out their undesirables,
undesirable, right?
and they
That's why
didn't want
all
they
these
so they were
diseases and
excommunicated to the
yeah,
Americas, and to do whatever you need to do with it, and then of course so this is how they chose to do with it.
but
So
but
yes.
here's something else I want to add, co-host. I really want to add this, and I want the listeners to really, really pay attention to this. And if they can prove me wrong, then I will give you a free capability statement for your business. If you can prove me
Okay.
wrong. So the U.S. government has made over 400 treaties, 400 treaties with the Native American, the blacks, and other groups, other oppressed groups. They never kept one of those treaties. 400, never kept one. So that's why we've been struggling with this 40 acre and a mule stuff, because they never honor any of those treaties. So this is one that they still are not going to honor. So that's why many of us, we're not holding our breath that it's going to happen, because the government just don't keep their end of the bargain. Look at the NAFTA deal. The NAFTA deal. This president now is talking about um, just disregarding that deal. That's a common occurrence within the U.S. government. They don't honor treaties. They don't honor deals. You know, and then if you're the lowest of the low on the ladder, like the African Americans to them,
Hmm.
then they're not even going to hear your concern about 40 acres and a mule that
Well, and
was.
I believe that that's the case because of the vast disparity between the one percenters who are the
Hmm.
wealthy. There what are there four over 400. There are 400 very very rich men or people families in this country. And but out of the 350,000 million people that live here,
Hmm.
everyone else is at this point, almost a third of that, or maybe even a half of that, are living below the poverty line. And
Hmm.
so today, when you have all of the disgruntledness that we have, it's not just because we're living they got the foot on the neck, as my mama used to say, but they
Hmm.
also have the foot on the neck of the very poor whites in this country.
Hmm.
And they're not even part of their equation either, but they've been bamboozled.
Yeah.
And that's the best word for it. They've been bamboozled and told that they were going to receive something because they are still better than that black man at the bottom of the totem pole.
Oh yeah.
And so they fight for them, thinking that they're inclusive in this journey, and they're not inclusive in this journey. This journey is all about the wealthy, the rich versus the poor, which is what was the problem in Europe. The rich versus the poor, and has always been an issue. And but a lot of people work against their best interest because they don't understand that. They think it's about them. And that's probably a psychological thing because even during the uprise of Hitler, many of the Jewish people who were part of the upper elite, the wealthy, and considered themselves to be German first, and their religion being Judaism. So they never felt that it was going to ever apply to them. It was only going to apply to those other people who had migrated in to Germany that were not true Germans, and that's what they felt, and that they were blown away when they realized that they talking about me. And then once they took everybody, they came and confiscated all their riches and their businesses, and basically put them in concentration camps. That's when they realized, no, this is about me, right? And so the same thing here in America as well is that there's so many people that think because their skin is the same color as this very rich man, that he's embraced them as well, and he has not. Rich people don't embrace poor people. They don't live
No.
with poor people. They don't travel with poor people. They don't invite poor people into their homes. What
It's
they do
it's
is
called classification there.
classification.
Yeah.
So what they do is they use and abuse you, and they get you to do their dirty work for them. That's what they
Hmm.
get to. That's what happens. And
That's
so
why we were enslaved and brought to build the White House and all these state houses you see. Every state has a capital. So in that capital they have a Capitol House, right? That's where the
hmm
governors live. Who you think built those houses, those governor houses? The state
exactly,
capital built by us.
built by us. So in the world we live in today, the MAGA are the very poor, and the rich are not even part of MAGA. If you really listen to Trump, that's his ideology for them, to get them to worship and follow him. That is not his ideology. His ideology is, I want to be the king.
The
Um,
CEOs are the rich and
uh huh.
well-to-do. So the MAGAs and the ethnic groups, we're at the bottom of the rung. But while we're
Mhm.
down there, we're still fighting against each
We're
other.
fighting against each other.
You
So
see what I'm saying?
And so if we bring Lamar, Kendrick Lamar about unity, he's
Hmm.
talking about us as a
Yeah.
black people, but he's
Right.
talking about the entire country. Those of us that are in the same classification, we need to unite as well. So
When
black
when he
people,
say when he said they not like us, they not like us. He's talking about those CEOs and the rich,
the
well-to-dos.
rich people are not like us. They don't have the same struggles that we have, and nor do they ever intend on having those same
No,
struggles.
no, and they don't get treated the same way in the court system. You know, they commit these crimes and they slap them on the wrist, give them 2 weeks, and some they have to pay some restitution. What with us, we get life.
Right, exactly. So that's going to bring us around to the last couple of minutes of 15 minutes of our show
Hmm.
is about the removal and the revoking
Of the
of the
DEI
DEI,
program,
but we're going to talk about the EI because the EI is more about equity and inclusion, which is what we've been talking about, right?
and
The
that could
equity
mean
in
everybody.
everybody. So not the diversity. Diversity is whatever ethnicity and minority we group we fall in. But the EI is more about the fact that um, it impacts anyone who has benefited from fair access to resources and opportunities in this country, particularly the farmers, the low income American, and small businesses. These
Hmm.
are the individuals that generally get hurt by all of this because you don't even know it's coming at you. You don't even understand it's coming at you. So, farmers, especially poor farmers, minority farmers, they've always faced a lot of discrimination in accessing land, loans, agricultural resources, and there have been programs designed to support them, such as debt relief and grant
And farm subsidies.
and farm subsidies. And so when you eliminate EI of the DEI, that means now those individuals are going to be affected. They're
But
removing your subsidies.
you know what though, co-host, like I say, the rich and well-to-do always find a way to burr their way into a system that's designed to provide access to equality and inclusion for us. Because many of those politicians, co-hosts in Congress, they claim they're farmers. They don't farm. They have land. They buy land, right? And they claim that it's farmland so they can get those subsidies.
Exactly.
But
But they're
then
going to get the subsidies. The poor ain't going to get their
you see
subsidies.
what I'm saying? And then they're complaining about us getting subsidies when they're the ones who are manipulating and bastardizing those programs. You remember last week when we did the interview with Dr. Thiele, and I was saying that many of the offenders are gluttonous because they go in and they don't want to see us get opportunities. They only want
No.
themselves to get the opportunities, and they want to keep taking more than they actually need.
Right.
And to make sure we don't get anything, they start calling us names, start complaining that we're cheating the system when they're the ones doing
Exactly. So yeah, they will get what they're going to get, but the small scale, the family farmer, they're going to be the ones that's going to suffer, and many of them are already.
it. Yeah.
Many of them are right on the edge where they're losing their farms because the this didn't go through regular process where you go through Congress and then they're voting on it. This was an immediate shutdown of everything. So
Big.
that means they didn't get paid in February. They haven't not gotten paid, and they work on very tight margins. And so now a lot of them are very afraid that that is happening. What's happening to them, and now they're starting. They've rounded up the migrant workers. So now the crops that they've grown, which was their livelihood to get it to market, to sell it to to be able to come back and take care of their families. Now their labor has gone, and they will
And
not find anybody to replace the labor, the migrant workers. That's why they were here.
and when that happens, you see the trickle down effect, right? The
Yep,
price of eggs go up because now you don't have the labor to produce, to maintain the chickens, chicken farms, and all of that. So therefore, the price of eggs go up. We're paying like $10 a dozen for eggs now.
exactly. Housing goes up, and then that comes up with the next topic is low income American citizens, which are far more than the wealthy. They now housing assistance, that's an equity product. The Section 8 is an equity product,
Yeah.
and that is governmentally regulated under the housing authority. And
Hmm.
so housing is an issue. Um, Healthcare access will be an issue
Right.
because they are already looking. They've already in some eliminated Medicaid, SNAP, which is the food program for those individuals. So now they may not have that. I imagine on the next on the horizon, we'll be getting rid of the Affordable Care Act because somebody said it was. They still thought it was Obamacare, so they were okay with it being taken away
Yeah.
until they found out it was one and the same.
That is so ridiculous, man.
And education and job training. So we're talking about moving out all the migrant workers. Who's going to train the young men and women to be able to be uh, skilled to be able to do the jobs that this country requires today? No job training programs. Small business owners, and that's both minority, women owned, veteran owned. The funding could just go away. No programs for that because those were aimed at um, um, diversifying entrepreneurial spaces for the small business owner. We already know about the labor. Our students, education programs will be eliminated, and as well, and most importantly, is people and with disabilities. So there are many equity policies that help accommodate and ensure the accommodation and accessibility in schools, workplaces, and public infrastructure in this country. So this is the EI part of the DEI. So it's not just about people of color, it's about everyone or anyone that does not have a portfolio of what $10 billion, $1 million, $1 million, $5 million, whatever it is, anything over 100 and over $200,000, you probably are considered below that today in this country. And so, American people, you have to understand what is happening. It is not happening to one group of people, it's happening to all of us. And we have to protect ourselves. But the only way I know how to protect ourselves, Gilbert, is through knowledge. It's so important to understand really the truths that are behind these policies that are in place. It's not hurting people that you feel that you're superior to, is actually hurting you because you really truly do fall in the same category as the classification as those people. So just want you guys just to know the facts. The facts, Jack, is what keeps you alive. That's what my mama used to tell me. The facts will keep you alive. Being ignorant of the facts will not.
And you
So
don't you don't have to be combative, but just make sure you be inquisitive. Ask questions. You want to know things. What's going on? Why is this so?
exactly.
You're not being disrespectful to them. You're not being rambunctious or anything like. You just want to know what's the source of this. You want to know.
What's the source of it? And I have heard people today going, well, Elon's doing a good job. He's going to get rid of the waste. You're the waste. He considers you the waste.
Uh,
So, so you have to understand what that really means. Now, there's a couple of things that happened this week that everybody needs to be very much aware of. Is when they um, got rid of the CFPB, which is the Consumer Financial Protection Board or Bureau, and that was there to oversee banks and credit unions and security firms and mortgage lending and debt collectors and payday lenders and credit reporting bureaus to protect you from being from fraud.
Make sure you're not being fleeced by the
Exactly. So with them pausing that, you now if somebody wants to fleece you, like the mortgage lending issue that took place in 2008, where
yeah.
that was purposeful,
Hmm.
and Senator um, 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 Warren, Elizabeth Warren, she fought for this to protect you, to get your monies back. So monies were returned, billions of dollars. I think it was like $30 billion were returned to those that lost their homes from predatory lending. And so you guys have to understand this. So do your homework. Now, since they have gotten rid of the CFPB, that means that the scammers are going to be coming at you hard. So be protect your credit, lock down your credit. Be Call your bank and ask them to put an extra security on your bank. Make sure you're not answering phones and giving folks your social security number. And then I heard today, Gilbert, that they paused Social Security for those Americans that are living abroad.
Oh, really? Oh man, this is crazy, man.
Yes,
This is crazy.
they have paused the Social Security, because Elon wants to get rid of Social Security and Medicare. So that's the next chopping. But he wants to really shut down every agency, governmental agency in the federal government. That is his plan right now. That's what he came out with the other day.
Mm, mm, mm.
Yeah. So
Well,
just be careful,
since
people. There's things happening out there, and you cannot dig your head in the sand and think it's not happening. And we just gonna
doesn't
pray for
apply
it to
to
go.
me.
We can't pray this one away without action. I'm so sorry. And
Yeah,
prayer without action, and faith without action is dead. So I just want you guys to be very much aware of what is going on and what is being taken away from you. It is not because they're finding all of this fraud in the government, and that they're going to put it back without fraud. No, they're not going to put it back. So that means those programs, you're going to be poor and destitute is what's
you're
going
on
to happen.
your own.
You're on your own. There is no going to be um, no savior, no parachute to catch you. You are on your own. So this is your country. Voting has consequences. If you don't vote, it has consequences. If you vote for the wrong person, you're going to quickly find out what those consequences are. And that's where we are. You're finding out right now what was the result and the consequences of that vote that you made on November 5th that has turned this world in the last 18 days. We are not even at the 20. We ain't even at 1 month. The 20th is 1 month when he's been inaugurated, and he has done so much damage with his sidekick that I don't even know if we. I mean, some of the damage we're not going to be able to recover from. So I just
Hmm.
want you people to know, the people, we the people, that's what it says in the Constitution. We the people need to wake up, and we need to fight back, and we need to join forces. We need to unite. And just as Kendrick Lamar says, they are not like us, and nor do they care about us. And
That's
so
right.
therefore we have to care for ourselves, and we have to protect ourselves. We have to protect our families. Our children will have less rights than we do. Our women will have less rights. That was the other thing they're proposing, Gilbert, is to take away the woman's right, a married woman's right to vote, so that
Hmm.
there is one vote in the household, the husband. and he will vote for her because he feels that he can make the better decision for her. So as women, ladies, we know that in some cases the men in our world can't even find their own socks. So how the heck they gonna make the better decisions for you? And I was gonna say something else, but I'm gonna leave it at socks.
You don't want YouTube coming to get you though.
They can't even take care of their own socks. So please, people, wake up, take care, do listen, find the right news outlet because our news is being censored right now, and we need to be able to get to the information and listen to shows and podcasts like this one. There's so many on on um, on YouTube that are telling you really what's happening. Don't tell them that they're imagining it. This is the real deal. We are in the real war right about now. All righty, Gilbert. I think that's the end of our show.
Yeah.
And so I want to wish everyone a very happy Valentine's Day. And everybody should be getting ready to go out for drinks and dating and whatever and dinner and very costly, but but that's where they're heading right now. And so I want to wish you guys all a happy Valentine's Day,
Valentina Day.
the Valentina Day. And if you're not with a couple, you're not a couple. That's okay. Go out with your girlfriends. Go out with your friends, or just kick back and have a glass of wine. And don't worry about any of those. Just enjoy your day yourself, and be happy with your day. So I'm gonna
How
send
come
you guys.
how come
Huh?
men don't get a day that we
Well,
call,
you got a day. You guys can go out and hang out at
Romeo Day?
your
Huh?
day. You guys can go out and hang. So happy Valentine's Day, everybody. You can go out with your buds, man, and have a drink
Man,
and
no, I'm
just
saying we need a day called Romeo Day, man, and where women give us showers with all kinds of things.
well, I think
Just
that's
like
called Father's Day.
no, Mother's Day and Valentine's Day are two different days. And therefore,
Well,
Father's Day
wait a minute,
and Romeo Day should be different.
right? But Valentine's Day is just not for women.
Yes, it's for women. It's not
No,
for us. You
it's
don't see
not.
men. You don't see men clamoring. Oh, I can't wait for Valentine's Day,
Ain't nothing.
man.
Is nothing sexist about this day.
Valentine's Day is like a tax day for us, man. We gotta buy all this stuff.
Where in there do you see a gender? There
Oh,
is no
trust
gender.
me,
There is
trust
no gender there.
trust me, man. Valentina's Day, man. Whew, that's a tax day for us. We gotta go buy chocolate, flowers, take them on trips, dinners. I don't
Don't
see
they
any
recipro-
woman doing anything for men on
Don't
that
they
day.
reciprocate? Yeah, I've done that. Don't they reciprocate?
Man, see if the sister would ever find out you did that, man, they will disown you.
Oh yeah, I went out all out for men I've been with for Valentine's Day. I didn't. It wasn't just on me. It was them too. I mean, both of us. I've taken folks to very expensive dinners on Valentine's Day. So, okay, here's a question. This is our call to action. But if you're listening, and if you're not listening right now, but you're gonna hear the show later on, you guys tell me if you think this day is a female gender day.
Oh man, they're gonna flood your line, man. It's gonna be yes, yes, yes. Let's do it right now. If there's any males listening to the show right now, I want you to put a one in the chat if you believe that Valentine's Day is a woman's holiday, a woman's day.
And if you don't, I say then put in the chat or in the comment when you guys actually do hear this. One, do you think that there should be a Valentine's Day for men? Because I didn't know that Valentine's Day was for women, but
Oh, it is
for
for
men,
women, man.
or a some kind of Romeo Day or
Romeo
some.
Day, man. That's what it is. Romeo Day for men.
Okay. Well, we're
where
gonna
women
see.
open the door for us and feed us grapes
So
and
you
fan
want
us with eagle feathers.
so you want a king day is what you want.
Yeah, bathe
Okay.
us, everything.
But this doesn't say that this is a queen day, but you want a king day.
That's right, man. That's right. Don't forget it.
Okay. So whoever agrees to me that this is a non-gendered day for everyone to benefit from, or if you agree with Gilbert that this day ain't got nothing to do with men and you need your own king day, your pampered king day, you guys
That's
let us
right,
know.
man.
All right, guys. We will see you next week. It's been great being here with you today, and we will see you next week. Next week we have a guest next week, and so we'll see you then. And then the following week, will be the last day of the Black History Month, the 28th day, the shortest day in the month. And we're going to have my one of my business partners, her uncle was a was the first black attorney that served as president of the California
Bar
state
Association.
bar association. So his daughter is going to come in, and we're going to give tribute to this trailblazer who was
That
an
sounds
attorney.
great, man. I like
Yeah,
that. I'm looking forward
yeah.
to that.
His name is Samuel Williams. And if you guys check out our LinkedIn and our social media, I've already put up advertisements for the shows. You can read about him. But that's who we're going to talk about. And his daughter is going to come in and share with us about her father and what those times look like, and the contributions that he made, and the trails that he blazed for the young black attorneys that came after him. So that's what we're going to talk about today, on the 28th. And then next week we have a young lady who has a jury business, so we're going to talk about that. And we will be continuing to talk about the things that's going on in the political world that is affecting the business world. So
40
please
acres
stay
and a
tuned.
mule.
40 acres and a mule. All right, guys, we're going to say good night, and we're going to see you next week. Have a beautiful Valentine's weekend. And then I believe it's President's Day on Monday. So for some of you, it's a
Man, we
long
don't
weekend.
recognize that day, man. We recognize Black History Year. That's what we recognize. Whole year. Black
Well,
History. Give us some black
President
contracts.
Black President's Day is the only day left on the calendar in the month of February.
Man,
Sorry.
scratch that day and call it Gilbert Buchanan's Day.
Yeah. Well, there you have it from Gilbert. He wants a King Day and a Gilbert Buchanan Day.
That's right, baby.
Okay. All right. We will see you guys all next week. Have a fantastic weekend. Be safe. Be alert. Acquire knowledge and talk to each other about what's going on.
That's right. We'll see you guys next week, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.
As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program and control. I'm a businessman, yes I'm an entrepreneur.